The Fugitive, coming in October on HBO.
Next on HBO, live from Las Vegas, former Olympic star Oscar De La Hoya and two-time world champion James Toney go against high-quality opponents. It's De La Hoya versus Jorge Paez, and Toney against Prince Charles Williams next.
The following is a special presentation of HBO Sports.
The past, the present, the future. 3 phases of life, 3 editions of boxing champions. Tonight, they all come together. To many, Oscar De La Hoya symbolizes the future of boxing. An Olympic gold medal, a golden smile, and an unblemished record. De La Hoya already has aspirations of winning titles in 6 different weight divisions. First, he must face the toughest opponent of his professional career, former IBF featherweight champion, Jorge Paez. One of the most colorful, flamboyant, and durable fighters in boxing, Paez has been the victim of only 1 knockout in his 63 professional fights. Among present champions, IBF super middleweight title holder James Toney ranks as one of the sport's top attractions. When last seen on HBO, Toney once again justified his quest to be recognized as boxing's best pound for pound.
That's a very, very bad cut over the eye. He's going to have to go out and try to end this fight as fast as he can.
And 2 minutes later, he did.
Oh, there's a solid right hand. And I think the referee's got to stop it right now, and he does.
A great performance by James Toney. It's reminiscent of the historic performance by Sugar Ray Robinson.
Now, like De La Hoya, Toney faces another champion from the past, the recently dethroned light heavyweight king, Prince Charles Williams. A come-from-behind warrior who over the last decade has suffered only 1 defeat. And so tonight, 2 champions from the past, one of the premier champions in boxing today, and a potential future champion, all come together on World Championship Boxing. From the MGM Grand in Las Vegas, Nevada, HBO Sports presents a doubleheader edition of World Championship Boxing. First, the up-and-coming Oscar De La Hoya meets veteran and former champion Jorge Paez in a lightweight matchup. Then IBF super middleweight champion James Toney defends his title against Prince Charles Williams. Both fights are scheduled for 12 rounds. In the brand new arena at this brand new Vegas Landmark Hotel, this arena, built to house as many as 17,000 spectators, tonight configured to seat 9,000, and we expect few empty seats, as it's a near sellout for this outstanding doubleheader featuring Oscar De La Hoya and James Toney, 2 of the biggest names in the sport. Hello again, everybody. I'm Jim Lampley. Welcome to this evening of World Championship Boxing on HBO, in which we'll be seeing James Toney defending his IBF super middleweight championship against a former light heavyweight champion, Prince Charles Williams. Before that, Oscar De La Hoya meeting Jorge Paez in a 12-round fight. De La Hoya's first fight at 135 pounds. Working with us, as always, HBO boxing expert and former world heavyweight champion George Foreman. George, later on this evening, in the Toney Williams fight, we have James Toney, who in the past year or 2 has moved up from 160 to 168 pounds. That's not unusual. But Prince Charles Williams, a former light heavyweight champion, comes down from 175 to 168 to make money. That is unusual. Which of the two is likely to be more comfortable at this weight?
This is totally beneficial for James Toney. Prince Charles, his main asset was to recuperate. And sometimes when you lose all that weight, you don't have anything to recuperate from. You've already lost it in the gym. So believe me, it's not easy to come down and have that recuperative power.
On the other hand, as a former light heavyweight, Prince Charles is hoping that his punching power will be enough to carry him through the fight.
Not at all. You lose all of that when you lose that weight. Sometimes all of a sudden you have two picks.
All right, but first we're going to take another look at Oscar De La Hoya, a fighter you like a great deal. De La Hoya fighting for the first time at 135 pounds, and working with us as always, HBO boxing analyst Larry Merchant. Larry, Oscar De La Hoya achieved so much celebrity coming off the Olympics in Barcelona where he won that gold medal, but now he's been knocked down in the first round in 2 of his past 3 fights. How much has that done to diminish his image as a future superstar in the sport?
You mean as the second coming of Sugar Ray Leonard?
Well, that's what he and his handlers are hoping
Well,
for.
there is image damage, but in the end of the day, it's going to be the substance that counts. The substance about Oscar De La Hoya right this minute is that he is still a terrific prospect. Whenever a terrific prospect zooms at us off the launching pad of the Olympics, sides are always drawn up between great expectations and skepticism. And as we observe almost too closely his progress through the early days of his apprenticeship as a professional, the pendulum swings back and forth between those 2 camps. So right now it might be said that he's on the road more likely to become another Mark Breland or Howard Davis. Terrific amateur fighters, gold medalists who went on to become just pretty good professionals, rather than a Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, who were great as amateurs and as professionals, but both of whom had their skeptics when they were at De La Hoya's stage of his professional career. One indication, Jim, of that image damage is that I've just learned that the odds which favored him at 10-1 just yesterday have plummeted to 5-1, and we're still going down just an hour ago.
So there's a lot of late Paez money coming in the sports books here in Las Vegas, and that reflects the skepticism about Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya will enter the ring first for this fight. Last fight, May 27, a 3rd-round TKO of Giorgio Campanella. He has said that as he reaches this stage of his career, there will be less showbiz, less hoopla accompanying events like this entrance into the ring, that he is ready to devote himself more to the business of boxing and of looking as good as he can in the ring rather than out of it.
Exactly right, Jim. This is De La Hoya's, the start of De La Hoya's campaign to win back fans. He used to come down before a fight almost like he was throwing roses to fans and laughing as if he was going into something that had a preordained ending. But you see how serious he is. He is now a professional, 2 years since the Olympics. This is serious business. The laughing should start after the fight.
At age 21 and a half, Oscar De La Hoya has had 13 professional fights so far, and you see the spotless record, 13 wins, no losses, 12 knockouts. But as we mentioned, he has gone down in the first minute of 2 of his last 3 fights. It first happened this past autumn against a fighter named Narciso Valenzuela. You'll see the clock come in that shows you there in the first minute of round 1 when De La Hoya was put on his butt by a Valenzuela punch. That was regarded as an aberration, but it happened again. May 27th, 2 months and 2 days ago against Giorgio Campanella. Again, in the first minute of the fight, De La Hoya down again. He came back to win both fights with vicious knockout-style performances, but they did little to enhance his credibility nevertheless, because so much attention has been paid to those mishaps.
What those knockdowns tell you is that he has to modify his aggressive style somewhat and get stronger, and that can happen only with time.
Meanwhile, Jorge Paez, former IBF featherweight champion, has been one of the busiest and most durable boxers in the sport. He does nothing to limit the showbiz in his performances, claiming that unusual actions in and out of the ring help to calm him down. And after all, Larry, he comes from a circus family, a circus background, a childhood circus career.
this is show business for him, but he takes care of business in the ring as well. He's a tough little guy. He had one of the best answers to a question I ever heard. I asked him what he did with all his money, and he said, everything I could, George.
What'd you do with all your money, George?
Everything?
Yeah, I know.
I could.
Paez, when he takes off the hat, you'll see the haircut, which finds the name of a Mexican presidential candidate carved into the back of his head. It's the name of the candidate who succeeded the assassinated Senor Colosio as the candidate of the PRE party in Mexico. And, of course, it's typical for Jorge to enter the ring with some inscription in his scalp. The record, 53 wins, 6 losses, 4 draws. He's knocked out 35 opponents, as we mentioned. In those 63 fights, he has been knocked out only once.
As much as he looks like a bizarre Las Vegas lounge act of some kind, politically, he's just correct.
Zedillo is the name of the candidate for the PRE party in the upcoming Mexican presidential election. Tail of the tape. And you'll see the age disparity between Oscar De La Hoya and Jorge Paez. De La Hoya 7 years younger, 5.5 inches taller. When they weighed in yesterday, Paez was a half-pound under the limit. They are equal in reach. Punch stat numbers, Larry.
Take a look how active these fighters are and how accurate they are, and roughly they throw the same amount of punches and are very accurate. Paez is much the shorter. The interesting thing will be, as we look at the jab count that they've had in recent fights, is whether De La Hoya will rely more on his jab because of his tremendous height and reach advantage.
And rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
Oscar De La Hoya and Jorge Paez will box tonight using the rules of the World Boxing Organization. There is no standing 8 count. The 3 knockdown rule is in effect. You can be saved by the bell in the last round only. Only the referee can stop the fight, and in case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, and that cut causes the fight to be stopped, we go to the scorecards after 3 rounds have been completed. Before that, it's a technical draw. Jim.
Thank you, Harold. Right now, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Bumper for the pre-fight introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the Grand Garden here at the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, where tonight, Mr. Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated, in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, proud to be your bud, presents an evening of professional world championship boxing. All the bouts are sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Dr. Elias Ghanem, Commissioners Nat Carasselli, Luther Mack, Dr. James Nave, and Crispin Rivera. Executive Director Mark Ratner. Chief Physician Dr. Flip Homansky. Attending ringside physicians Dr. James Wishgame, Dr. William Berliner. Timekeeper James Cavan. Counting for the knockdown seconds, Mike LaStella. This first bout is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization. President, former light heavyweight champion of the world, Jose Torres. Supervisor at ringside, Mr. Ed Levine. The 3 judges scoring this bout on a 10-point must system are Chuck Giampa, Jerry Roth, and John Stewart. And when the bell rings, the man in charge of the action working in a world championship bout for the 99th time, referee Richard Steele. And now, ladies and gentlemen, man your battle stations. This is the Battle of Champions, 12 rounds of boxing for the vacant WBO Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, wearing the blue trunks with white trim, weighing in at 135 pounds, undefeated with a record of 13-0, 12 KOs. This 1992 Olympic gold medal champion comes to us tonight from Los Angeles, California, East LA to be exact. Ladies and gentlemen, the current WBO Junior Lightweight Champion of the World, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the red trunks with green and white trim, weighing in at 134 1/2 pounds. His professional record, 53 victories, 35 by KO, against 6 defeats with 4 draws. Ladies and gentlemen, from Mexicali, Mexico, he's the #1 ranked WBO contender, the former featherweight champion of the world, Jorge Marromero Paez.
All right, I spoke to both fighters in the dressing room. I'm cautioning them again. Obey my commands at all times. Shake hands, good luck.
Jim, last weekend, a former Olympic gold medalist from Nigeria, Robert Wangala, died here in Las Vegas in the aftermath of a fight. It reminds us of how dangerous this game can be. And it also reminds us that sometimes, after such an event, officials can get very touchy and try to end fights very fast.
We'll keep an eye on the activities of referee Richard Steele as Jorge Paez begins the first round, stalking Oscar De La Hoya. Now, George, Paez is an unconventional fighter. He may be open a lot of the time, but he's so off rhythm that you may not be able to find him when he's open.
That's right, but you can cut all of that off if you make him be the aggressor. You can do a lot of clowning things, backing up, but coming forward, you can only do one thing, lead with your head clowning.
For the moment, De La Hoya seems determined to allow Paez to be the aggressor. Will Paez take the bait? It appears he's going to be cautious, at least at the start. Crowd chanting, Jorge, Jorge, Jorge. There's a lot of popular support for Paez here. That's part of the story, a battle for the hearts of Mexican fans, many of whom appreciate Paez's blood and guts background, his up-from-the-barrio Mexican upbringing, more than De La Hoya's glittering amateur career and Olympic gold medal.
The thing about a young fighter, they got to be careful. When you hit them, they always try and hit you back. If Paez happened to land a shot on Oscar, he should just forget it and go back to what he's done, backing up, using a jab.
Oscar not allowing himself to get in danger here as he did in the first rounds of 2 of his 3 preceding fights. Takes a right hand to the head. Paez spent most of his career fighting at lower weights. There are few who believe he will have brought much punching power up here to 135.
Thus far, Oscar not taking any steps forward. He's starting to get off a little bit. Do not come forward, forget it, until the rounds start to mature.
Paez landing a left inside. De La Hoya punching sparsely. Now sticking the jab, throwing a right hand. You can see how utterly conventional De La Hoya is in style compared to the wild, winging shots of Jorge Paez.
Oscar, if he's maintained the position, keep using the left jab. Even if you have to win every round with a left jab, it's possible. Forget about exchanging right now because you can't get that target. It's moving a little too much.
Some fans whistling as it's been an extremely cautious first round, particularly from De La Hoya. Another left-hand shot landed inside by Paez. De La Hoya lands a straight right, not a lot behind it. Now a right uppercut at the end of the round is De La Hoya's best punch of the stanza. And as we go to the corners, our interpreter is Hector Garcia.
Watch out for the left hook.
Be careful with the left hook.
Down and more angles.
Use more angles. Keep moving your waist. Use those punches up and down. Try to hide from this guy a little bit. He's scared. The man's scared for this.
Hey, David. Tell him don't walk straight to him. Use more angles and cut the ring down. Don't walk straight in.
Okay, this guy.
Beautiful. Nice. Jim, before this fight, I mentioned that I thought that De La Hoya had to start to modify his aggressive style, and we saw him doing that in the very first round. A little bit more defensive, wear the other fighter down, and then take him on later in the rounds. He's walked out into some big punches early in fights, and he's learned something from it.
De La Hoya sticking with the jab in round one. Oscar threw 51 punches, and 36 of them were jabs. Now a left hook seems to stagger Paez momentarily. De La Hoya follows with a flurry. Another left hook, and down goes Jorge Paez. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's not going to get up. 9. Oscar De La Hoya with a second-round knockout of Jorge Paez, who had only been knocked down once in 63 previous fights.
We just saw the image and the pendulum swing to the other side. He fought brilliantly because he had modified his style. He was cautious in the first round, and he seized the opportunity when he saw it.
49 seconds of round two. George, 2 spectacular left hooks.
The thing about it, he got them not within the exchanges of punches. He just picked his time, threw his punches. There weren't any exchanges. He did it properly.
So he showed a patience that he hasn't been able to show before.
Good defensive left jab to set all of that up. Great. Spectacular.
Short, beautiful left hands, and now he's smiling.
Well, it could not have gone better for those in the Oscar De La Hoya camp. And now the memories of those 2 knockdowns against De La Hoya in the first rounds of 2 of his last 3 fights begin to fade a little bit. This was just the kind of performance he needed to re-enhance his credibility. And no doubt many of those who are cheering now are the ones who were chanting Jorge, Jorge in the first round.
The great thing about it, he got a second-round knockout by not being the aggressor. He was on the defense most of the fight. Then when the opportunity presented itself, he went for the finish. Missed a lot of shots, but he threw a lot of shots. Particularly good because when Paez fell, he fell on his neck. There you go.
Richard Steele was blocking your vision just a little bit as Oscar landed that finishing left hook. There's
that
one.
Was the shot that hurt him. It wasn't the last one that got him. When
That's
you
right.
see a fighter fall on his neck as Paez did, he is hurt.
It was the first left hook that set up all of this, and then the second left hook there put the man down.
And he did it spectacular by using jabs, going backwards. Paez needed room to clown, and he just took away his own room by being the aggressor, thinking Oscar is afraid of him. There's that left hook.
He's got great technique on the left hook, doesn't he, George?
He stands square, and he believes in his power. When a guy has power like that, all you got to do is believe in it.
All right, let's go up to ring announcer Michael Buffer for the official particulars on the second round De La Hoya knockout.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Richard Steele reaches the count of 10. The official time, 39 seconds of round number 2. The winner, winning his second world title, the new WBO lightweight champion of the world, the Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya.
Incidentally, if you're wondering why you haven't heard us talking about a title, we at HBO don't recognize the WBO, the World Boxing Organization, as a major sanctioning body. To us, it was another prize fight for Oscar De La Hoya, perhaps on the way to a major title.
Now I think Oscar De La Hoya is a major champion. The HBO title is sprinkling enough.
Final punch stat numbers, you can see that De La Hoya landed 20 of 66 in the 2 rounds, a 30% percentage, but that doesn't really tell the story. Paez only able to throw 26 punches. Oscar was the busier of the 2, and working behind that jab, he both protected himself and set up the assault that brought the knockout. Let's go to Larry Merchant in the ring with Oscar De La Hoya.
All right, Oscar, congratulations. Tell us your thoughts coming into this fight in terms of how you wanted to modify your style, because you did seem to be more stable, a little bit more cautious in the first round.
Well, what I was trying to do is kind of get his game plan, see what he has to offer for myself, and I was just studying him and trying to be careful out there because I knew he was going to start off fast and he was going to just try to throw lunging punches and wild shots like that. So the first round was kind of a little filling out process, and the second round we just did it.
Was that on account of the 2 knockdowns in those 3 fights that you felt you had been perhaps a little too reckless early in fights, trying to do too much too quick?
Exactly. First round, my past fight, my last fight with Valenzuela also, we were coming out too strong in the first round, kind of being overconfident. And now with this fight, as you can see, I was even more focused than my previous fights, and I just felt really great. I felt as if I was just here with Paez and nobody was here in the room. I was just concentrating and focusing on Paez.
Are you suggesting by that there was a little bit too much playing to the crowd, too much showbiz before, and that you had to settle down and be a professional prize fighter?
Well, as you know, as people know that they call me the Golden Boy. I have the Golden Boy image, and I kind of had to stop to that for a while because I had to focus on my opponent. I had to concentrate on boxing, and I had to just really show the people that I can focus and I can really do a good job with excellent opponents like Paez.
All right, we're going to try to run off the reel of that round and show your knockout, and we'd like you, when it comes up, to describe what happened, what you saw, what you did.
Well, I knew right here Paez was going to just throw lunging punches, and I did catch him with good left hooks, good right hands, and right here I hit him with a good left hook on top of the head right there that really did a lot of damage. And the final left hook right here coming up is what put him down, and I believe right there where his neck kind of got twisted a bit and it just went down. As you can see, he was out. And I'm really glad that fighters like Whitaker, fighters like Ruelas couldn't knock him out, and I knocked him out.
Well, that is a milestone for you. Let me then ask you further. Mexican fight fans, American Mexican fight fans, know boxing, and a lot of them were turning to be skeptical about you, just as they were about Sugar Ray Leonard when he was a young fighter. Did you feel that? Did you feel you had to do something sensational tonight to win those fans back?
Well, coming into this fight, I knew that the whole world was going to be watching. Afro-Americans, Anglos, Mexican-Americans, Mexican fighters, and I knew I had to prove to them, that I have to do a good job and that I am a good game fighter for them.
How about proving it to yourself after perhaps some doubts might have crept in the last months?
Well, my father knew, my trainer knew, myself, we knew that Paez really wasn't going to last. I mean, I wasn't going to predict a knockout. I was not going to predict anything. I knew Paez has a lot of experience, and I was ready for this fight. But to prove to myself, I did have to prove to myself, for the public, for everyone, and that's what I did tonight.
Talk to us about your strength at 135, because it seemed to us that you were staying at an artificially low weight at 130 pounds, a weight you had fought at for 4 or 5 years. You were 5 foot 10 inches. How much stronger are you now, and will you hold this weight for a while?
I feel much, much stronger at 135. When I was fighting 130 pounds, I was draining myself. I couldn't eat for 2 days before making the weight, and it was just very, very tough for myself, for my body physically, and also mentally for my mind. And now that I'm eating more, I can train, have a nice dinner, a nice meal, and feel very, very strong for the match.
Do you feel now that you are equipped to take on some of the bigger names, bigger fighters, legitimate lightweights, etc., and how soon do you want to fight them?
Well, I'm sure Mr. Bob Arum has plans for us to fight all kinds of fighters out there. Most definitely we will fight Rafael Ruelas for the IBF title. We will go on a world tour after this, and we have just many, many plans, and I'm sure Mr. Bob Arum can explain that to you some more.
Just one other thing. You walked in and you looked very grim when you walked in, not as if you were throwing rose petals to the crowd with your smile, and you saved the smiles for afterwards. Is that how it's going to be from now on?
That was the objective, to come into the fight focused, kind of having some blinders when I walk in, so I will not pay attention to the crowd. And afterwards, I can greet the people, have that golden boy image, and smile, and just be nice to everyone.
Thank you very much, Oscar. Jim?
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Larry. Just to clear up one thing, there are 2 Ruelas brothers. Oscar's comments there are directed toward Rafael Ruelas, who is the IBF lightweight champion, and he, incidentally, was the one previous fighter who did knock out Jorge Paez. George, you've always liked Oscar. You like him even better now?
Oh, boy, that answer he gave about who he represents. This truly is an American golden boy. He won that gold medal for the whole country, and it seems like he's representing himself for the whole country. I love that kid. If he wasn't so expensive, I would adopt him.
I don't think you can afford it, George.
No way.
Do you think that those knockdowns in the first round of 2 of his 3 preceding fights are going to turn out ultimately to have been a blessing in disguise?
I think so. He's shown now that he can be defensive. He's not like a fool. He doesn't have to rush in, take his time. Some guys will come to him, and when they do, you're going to see him put out the lights of a lot of young fighters.
Well, let's take another look at the 39-second round of the fight, and you take us through it, George, concentrating on technique.
Yeah, De La Hoya is not taking any steps forward. He allows this guy to bob and weave, knowing that you can't land a good shot on a moving target. So let him come forward. That's when you expose your head. That's when you expose things, stepping forward. He didn't, no matter what happened, he didn't go forward. Although he figured, hey, I'm the bigger puncher. I can knock this guy out, but I'm not going forward. This is an extremely difficult thing for a young fighter to do, especially when a guy hits you, you continue to go backward. I love it. Only a Sugar Ray Leonard could do something like that.
Well, maybe not only a Sugar Ray Leonard, maybe only a Sugar Ray Leonard and an Oscar De La Hoya.
Whoa, now we're talking and using them in the same language, in the same sentence. That's what I've been expecting for a long time. Now, Oscar doesn't get excited. This guy makes him miss a few times. He still doesn't decide, I'm going to hit you with something. Takes it. You don't bother his ego. There's no problem.
This is the first round, incidentally, which we have queued up on tape here. So we're looking at De La Hoya's cautious first-round performance rather than the no-holds-barred explosion of left hooks
and
that brought him into the fight.
When a young fighter gets hit, he tries to pay the other guy back. When he was hit, he just took his time and continued to back away, which is, like I say, extremely difficult to hold a young puncher back. He did so with great precision. And he landed a good left hook here and there, but he didn't go out and try to finish it. When he hit a 10-second count, then he tries to send the guy back to his corner hurt, which is what you call experience.
Yeah, that's a good point. He did that in the last 10 seconds of the first round, opened up just a little bit and landed an uppercut with the left hand, which appeared to hurt Paez. Kind of a message going into round 2.
He tries to come forward a little bit, then he remembers his corner telling him, take your time, then he goes back on the defense. Paez is a hard target to hit. He's constantly dynamic, so you can't hit him with 2 shots or 1 shot. Take your time. As he comes forward, he will give you his chin.
You're looking back at round 1 of Oscar De La Hoya's second round knockout of Jorge Paez. It was here in round 1 when George Foreman and later Larry Merchant noticed that Oscar had switched to a more cautious style than the style which saw him getting knocked on his can in the first round of 2 of his 3 preceding fights.
It's awful interesting because as he backs up, he continuously keeps this guy in the middle of the ring. He goes back to the middle. So he's using a defensive style of retreating, but at the same time, he's saying to Paez, I want you in the middle of the ring.
Many at ringside and in the crowd at large were whistling and expressing displeasure at this point with what they regarded as a too cautious first round, unaware that Oscar was using this to set up the fireworks of round number 2. There was the uppercut. It was the right hand, not the left hand, but the most explosive punch of round 1 for De La Hoya.
You want an inning on a bad note.
And round 2 becomes an entirely different story.
That's right. Now he knows, hey, I can catch this guy. I can land combinations. Now I'm going to make him open up a little bit. If he swings at me, I'm going to pay him back. And when this fight proceeds, you'll see him decide, hey, I'm not going to... Keeping his right hand right next to his chin. A little higher along his eyebrow. There you go. The hook. And he's a finisher. He's a finisher. Once he gets you hurt, he's hungry.
Finishing is a matter of psychology. George Foreman has said all along that Oscar De La Hoya has the stuff necessary to do that.
And I think that he was matched with a great fighter today. He had to have it all together.
You want to hear from another great fighter?
Yes, I do.
Watch this. I just found one right here. Multiple world champion, one of the greatest of all time, Sugar Ray Leonard, who works here, incidentally, as a consultant to the MGM Grand Hotel as they launch their boxing ventures. First of all, congratulations. Spectacular arena, great surroundings, great night. You must be very proud of what you guys are building here at the MGM Grand.
You know, and there are more fights, more championship fights to come, Jim. And
We're very proud of this turnout. I think it demonstrates the kind of type of following that Oscar De La Hoya has.
Oscar De La Hoya at this stage of his career, your thoughts?
Well, tonight, especially tonight, he seems to be more poised. I think the weight becomes a factor because he's not struggling to make the weight. He's a lot more comfortable. He gets into the ring now. He's more focused. He's not trying to create or maintain that golden boy image anymore. He has to fight these guys. But I expected more from Paez. I thought Paez's style, being awkward, would make it difficult for Oscar. But Oscar took his time. He set his man up. It was a picture-perfect left hook that put Paez down.
Let's talk about maintaining the golden boy image, because you can remember this stage of your career, which was really before the Benitez fight and ultimately the loss to Duran, which established you as a superstar in the sport. And there were some who were saying, oh, well, he's another Olympic gold medalist who isn't going to be a great pro. Oscar has been hearing that, and he seems aware of it. Certainly he responded positively tonight. But how dangerous can it be to try to satisfy the public as opposed to learning your craft?
Well, it's going to be a very difficult task for Oscar until he really faces the top guys in the division. You know, I face the same thing. They call me TV image, television made, network made. And he has to prove to himself, not really to everyone else, and get in the ring with the best oppositions. And until then, he's going to always have that type of, I don't know, criticism stalking.
Has he had the benefit of your advice and expertise?
Well, he's doing pretty good for himself, Jim. I'm very impressed with this fight tonight. He put on a great fight against Paez. I'm very impressed with him.
Ray Leonard has had a big year, incidentally. Got married to the lovely Bernadette Roby. Got a brand new house in Pacific Palisades, and he's taken up golf. I expect to see you on the seniors tour.
I will be there pretty soon.
No, you're a long way from 50, Ray. I know the numbers on this. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Great to see you again. George, let's turn our attention